This is Lewis Hart for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store and William Hill. Delighted as ever to be joined with Dave Coldwell. How are we, mate? How's things been? We had a big heavyweight fight last night. We'll get on to, but how are you, mate?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. Got moving into a fight week with Stephen Cairns over in Denmark this coming Friday. So on the back of Muhammad Ali boxing the other week, it's a little bit hectic at the moment.
Yeah, I can imagine. What are you sort of expecting for Stephen Cairns this weekend?
Listen, the progression that he's showing in the gym, he's 21 years old. He's a very, very good kid. I'm quite excited about him. So just it's just another fight for him, another fight to soak up the experience and put on another good display of box fighting. Really, that's the sort of style he is.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get into last night. Oleksandr Usyk stops Daniel Dubois in the ninth round after sort of dropping him in the eighth. He then stops him in the ninth after dropping him again. But we think that'll be the main talking point, but that isn't the main talking point. We'll get onto it in a minute. But initially, what did you think of the fight? Sort of the 9 rounds, prior to the stoppage.
I thought Dubois handled himself really well. Pretty much what we thought. Well, what I thought really is that Usyk going to be a little bit too much for him in the boxing skills department, ability and IQ. But there's all when you've got somebody that's so much bigger and so much more powerful than the other guy, there's always that on edge because you never know. One shot can always turn it around. And that's what Dubois had in his locker. We all know that he's such a heavy-handed fighter, can really punch, and he's just huge. He is huge. So once after the initial rounds progressed, then you saw him. He looked dangerous, and listen, Usyk always looked like he was in control, apart from a little window. But Usyk knows how to ride things out like that. But Dubois always looked like he was dangerous because of the sheer size and power of the man. So I think he's a young heavyweight. What is he, 25 years old? I thought he equipped himself, really well.
And that's what I was going to say. With him being a young heavyweight, he's only 25. And I know he didn't go his way. Do you feel like that? He will learn so much from this experience. It is in good hands.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you either in your losses, some fighters can learn, and especially when they're young, you can learn, develop, come back, become better fighters, more rounded fighters, eradicate mistakes, add things from the experienced fighters that they've been in the ring with. But the fighters with the strong mentality are the ones that get better, even though they have the setbacks early on. Early on. Um, I don't know Daniel Dubois enough to talk about what his mentality is like, and whether he's a confident sort of kid. It doesn't look like the most confident sort of fighters to me, despite all the physical attributes that he's got, and he's a good fighter. He's a good boxer. He's got physically it looks like he's got it all there, and he looks like he could be a real weapon in the division. But I don't know if he is at the moment mature enough, confident enough, strong enough mentally. I don't know how this will affect him. But I've been around a gym with Johnny Nelson, who in his 20s mentally wasn't the fighter that he ended up being, in his 30s. And Daniel Dubois, with the right people around him, I know people like to write you off and things like that straight away. You never know, but it's the mental code that's got to be cracked, because the worry for me is that I know he suffered that orbital bone injury against Joe Joyce, um, uh, but then last night he got hit with some shots that he didn't like. They didn't knock him out. He
Yeah.
kind of he went over. And you're talking about a guy that's he's in a division where he's you imagine him getting hit flush off of the big punching heavyweights, big strong heavyweights. That's the worry that I have for him, is the mental side of things when things aren't going his way.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that what Usyk does, he can't. So if you're not mentally strong, then the mental pressure that he puts you under, and you hear about all these good fighters he goes in with, and the first few rounds they're all in the fights, even with a cruiserweight, good fights, they're in there. But then in the second half of the fight, the energy starts zapping from them.
Yeah,
And if you're mentally not the most confident and most, strongest of minds, then that is definitely going to have an effect on you. And it kind of seemed as though he
yeah,
crumbled mentally in there more than physically. But, he'll have been drained physically from being tired, but it's a yeah, the ending. It was from what happened in the fight, that ending, the way that he went so quickly, that again, that's a little bit of alarm bells for me.
yeah. That's what I was going to say. I was going to get onto it like later, but I suppose we'll get onto it now. With the stoppage, I think the consensus is obviously, there was a choice made there from Daniel Dubois not to continue.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Definitely a choice there to go down. The first knockdown. Listen, don't get me wrong. Every shot in that division hurts, and
yeah,
you feel, but they weren't full blooded monster shots when he went over the first time. And it was kind of like where he started going and then he kind of stopped and then took a knee. And then obviously the end of the fight, it was a good jab, a very good screw jab, put some power into it. But in that division, we don't talk about Usyk's power, never mind about the power of his jab. In that division, with the fighters you're talking about, who he's going to have to come back against, if he wants to become, the best in the division, he has to be able to come through those sort of those crisis moments. And so, obviously, he gets it with that shot. Whether that shot it puts, he goes down, and the fight was over. Again, he's very very young, so these traits that he's got, these self doubt, again, like I said, maybe not strong enough in that department. They can change with experience and with time and maturity as a man. He's got all the physical attributes. He's one of these fighters that he's not just heavy-handed. He's not just he throws different shots. The upcut's lethal from him, and he's got good body shots when he goes to work down there. He's a good fighter. He's a very very good fighter physically. I just think that the mental side, if he sticks at it, and Frank looks like he absolutely loves him,
yeah,
so Frank will back him, and I think if people allow him to that time to develop, then there's a chance that mentality can change. I'm not saying it's gonna. It doesn't change with everybody. Some people are just the same. The first time that you look for that way out is the hardest, and it
yeah.
always gets easier after because you've experienced all that. But it's like some people can change and some people do learn from it. He's 25 years old. He's a baby, and he seems like a young. Again, I don't know him, but just when you see him in interviews, you see how on the stage, you think maybe he is that a young 25, not like a mature 25,
Yeah,
young 25. So that can, with the right people around him and everything, and the team that he's got, that can be developed.
absolutely. Well, we'll get into the main talking point. Round five. A low blow was called by the referee for a shot from Daniel Dubois on Oleksandr Usyk. Suppose I mean the thing is I'm going to ask you, low blow or not, what's your sort of verdict on it?
Do you know what? When he went live, watching it live on TV, I thought it was a good body shot live, and I thought, oh, I'm sure. But then when you watch it back, and there's initially another reason probably why. Same as fans out there. Listen, I'm in the game, and when you think low blow, you think bollocks,
Yeah,
right? Getting hit in the bollocks, and of course, it's nowhere near his balls, right? But that doesn't mean that's not a low
yeah,
blow. So the low blow is from the hip line, and when you look at the shot landing, for me, in my opinion, listen, people are going to disagree, agree, whatever. This is one of those contentious points in boxing where
yeah.
people will say you're talking shit, and
The
people say,
line, you know what I mean?
you know. For me, most of his glove was underneath that hip line. which is a low blow. And it's so if it's hitting you in the bladder, it is a low blow, and that's where it hit. It didn't hit him in the balls, it hits him in the bladder. But my feeling is Usyk gets hit with that shot, and no, it's not in the bollocks, but it's not nice getting it there.
Yeah.
Now, when you get the only thing that I can explain, majority of people out there will not know what I'm talking about, but the people that sparred him will know what I'm talking about. Back in the day when he used to spar with Naz had come in with this shot where his hand, it drop it, it's like a bolo, it drop right low, and you think he's going to hit in the nuts, but he scoops and it hits you right there in the black, just underneath the waistband, and he'd nail you with that. And it's the most sickening sort of shot. It really, it's not something that I can describe. It's a sickener. Yeah. So I can imagine Usyk getting hit with that shot, and he drops.
Yeah.
But he knows he's not being hit in the balls, but it's not a nice shot. Yeah. It's a sickener. And he's thinking, I've been hitting the ball, because he always, whenever you hit him to the body, when we was training for the Bellew fight.
Yeah, of course.
Every fight I see him in, where anybody goes downstairs, he always moans, gestures to the referee, low, low, low. And 9 times out of 10, not. You just don't like it. Or he's playing the game, so you're not in with body shots, so you don't take away that mobility.
Yeah.
And I thought he's playing the game. If the referee had started counting, 100% he gets up. For me, in my opinion, listen, people say, how do you know? I don't know. But in my opinion, he gets up because I think he was playing the game. And people saying, oh, he was shaking. I was like, look, I can start shaking. When you're looking to buy time, you can do that. There was a fight early on in his career where he gets I think it was the amateurs. I know it might be earlier on in his pro career. I can't remember. But he gets hit with a shot.
Was it Beterbiev? Was it the Beterbiev?
But he gets. But he says it's low. It goes down. He's gesturing as though it's low. Referee starts counting and he's all right. That's it.
Yeah, yeah. I think that might have been the Beterbiev one in the amateurs. Right.
But it's kind of it's like Corrales when he gets dropped.
Yeah.
Spits his gum shield out. Goes back in. Comes back out. Gets dropped again. Spits his gum shield out. Takes the point deduction or whatever. Isn't interested. Spits the gum shield out. Plays the game. Buys the clock. Runs down a little bit so he can recover. Walks out there and stops him. Right. Yeah. Trinidad used to get dropped early doors in a fight. The first shot Trinidad is doing, as soon as he gets hurt, he'd whack him in the bollocks as hard as he can. These fighters, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's you should be doing it. But these fighters, when they're in trouble, they're kind of like, take a point off me, moan at me, do what you want. It's like a fighter gets hurt or is feeling uncomfortable, and they're clinching, they're holding. Everyone's screaming, he's holding rep, and he carries on doing it. Referee's warning. Takes a point off, still does it. He'll do anything to get through that rocky moment until he's all right again, and then goes back to work. And that's what Usyk did. He took the time. If you've been hit low, you get 5 minutes. So when people say, oh, he carries on after a minute, oh, well done, but Usyk don't give a shit what people think. He thinks, I'm going to take my time. And when I feel all right again, I'm going to feel all right. I'm going to go straight back at him. Because he knows, once he's shown that reaction, he's gone down, he knows that Daniel Dubois is going to come at him. Or he should come at him. So he wants to settle it down, take that momentum away, and then get through, manage the rest of the round if that's what it needs to be. But then Dubois comes out and he's waiting. So then Usyk's allowed to get back into rhythm and thinks, oh, okay then. And then the chance is gone.
So, and another thing, the issue that people had was with the referee saying to Usyk that he could, you've still got loads more time. Did you see much of an issue with the refereeing last night? And I think, many people were saying afterwards that you just said about Usyk playing the game there, but everyone was saying that with it being in Poland, Usyk was like sort of controlling the referee with the body shots, and obviously, after the low blow, the referee was saying that he was allowing Usyk more time after he said he was fine. Did you see much of an issue with the referee last night?
I didn't see where Usyk said he was fine and he wanted to continue. The referee said, "Listen, referee, I don't know. Referee could have just been letting him be aware, saying you have got 5 minutes, you have got a minute left or whatever. Maybe just saying that. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do think that Usyk, if the ref would have just started administering a count, I think Usyk would have got up, and I do think he'd have held, he'd have ran, he'd have done whatever he can do to get out, to get through it. The first shot that Dubois throws again to the body, Usyk complains again straight away.
Yeah.
But he
Yeah.
does this every time he gets hit to the body. He complains all the time, and it puts the seed of doubt into the fight. I think, and makes the referee aware of it, and it works towards this strategy and towards what he needs to do to win the fight. And like I said, initially I thought it was low, and then after when you look at it, and like I said, in your head you think automatically that's not in the balls, so therefore it's not low. But it's not about hitting it in the balls. There's the hip line, and if it's below that, it's an illegal shot. So really, for me, it's an illegal shot.
So after the fight, we see Frank Warren and Don Charles visibly very angry, very
100%.
fuming. And then I think Don Charles done an interview with Umar from IFL today, and he was talking about calling Usyk a cheat and this and that, and saying sort of very, very, very emotional. I understand. Do you think that's completely understand all these emotions going through now?
So it's like I understand. Listen, if I was in that position of Frank Warren and Don Charles, I'd be the same.
Yeah.
I'd be the same, saying it's a low, it's low, it's low. Of course you're gonna. There's so much on the line for both camps. So whoever's side you're on, you're gonna be saying it's right. It's like football fans with a goal. Is it offside or in? Is it? You don't care about the rules when it works in your favour, but when it goes against you, fucking rules are rules. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like that. So yeah, it's totally understandable how emotional and upset they are. To say it's a cheat, it's a little bit, especially in this day and age, it's a little bit far fetched. What's the difference between one of his fighters being in a clinch and punching up back at head?
Yeah.
Is that cheating? Every time you get in a clinch and a fighter's punching on the back of head, it's dirty. It's dirty. You shouldn't be doing it. It's against the rules, but they're doing it. So I think cheats are a strong word. And bottom line, I think it was low. It was low. It wasn't in the balls, and I don't think it was enough for him to do what he did. But he's been given 5 minutes to recover, so you take him. It's like, again, if you're getting battered, if your fighter's getting battered, and the gum shield comes out, and the ref brings him over to replace the gum shield to get the gum shield cleaned out, you, the coach, whether you're me, Don Charles, or anybody else, right? Oh, I'm going to be as quick as they can. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up.
Absolutely.
They're going to take the time. Is that cheating? Or is that playing to the rules? Is that playing the game? So this is what happens in the game. And Dubois, like I said, as a young kid, he can come back from this and he'll be devastated. But ultimately, the fight went on. Ultimately, he's had 3.5 minutes recovery time. He's got up. But you've had 3.5 minutes rest yourself if you're Daniel Dubois.
Yeah.
And you now know
that could do him.
I can fuck him with a body. So if you don't think that was a low blow, right, you're in your head thinking, I can fuck you with body shots. That's all I'm going to throw. That's all I'm going to throw. Now, you don't have to throw everything that low, but you've just got your man and you possess all this power. So why don't you go for it? Why didn't you just go for it? So although, and I sound like I'm being very, very harsh with him, but if that opportunity is there and I didn't hit him low. So that means you hit him with a good body shot. In your head, you believe you hit him with a good body shot. You've hurt him. Do it again. Jump on him. But he kind of didn't. And so Usyk then gets into his rhythm. And then when he starts taking a few shots back, the fight's over. So you can be pissed off, you can be angry, and you've Don Charles 100%, Frank Warren 100%. But also in their RRs, they're going to be a bit like, fucking hell, Daniel, you had him.
Yeah.
Just gone for it. You should. They 100%. They won't want a bit on camera, but 100% because being in that position myself, not the exact same, but where you feel as though your fighter's got, you've had him, you let him off a hook, and then you've lost the fight. And it's like inside you're like, oh, fucking, could have got that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
100%. And a last one from me. Don't visibly, as you said there, these things are going to come out when there's controversy. And I don't know if I really understand what it is, but they were sort of talking about the idea of VAR in boxing and video replays in boxing. So referee, would that have been a logical thing yesterday, considering, as you said there was no count for Usyk. So would it be even be possible?
Listen, they could have looked at it, yeah, because while he's sat there, on the floor, and then if they're not if the medicals straight away and not taking as long as referees doing VAR in football, because otherwise he's probably gonna have longer, and then
Yeah.
say get up, son. That's not a low blow. Get on with it. Maybe so, but you can. That makes no difference to what happened last night. It's not in. It's not in. So you got to go on what happened last night.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Dave, I just want to say I really appreciate the time taking to speak to me. It's been a good conversation. It's always really good to chat to you, so I appreciate it, mate.
Cheers, mate. Nice one.
Top man. Thank you.